George Kilpatrick Inspiration for the Nation, celebrating people we feel good about. A week from today, the annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration takes place at the JMA Wireless Dome. Tomorrow, obviously, is the birthday of the official birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., January 15th, and it happens to also be the federal holiday. So sometimes those days match, and this year it happens. But the third Sunday in January this year will be the annual Martin Luther King Jr. celebration, one of the largest on-campus celebrations anywhere in the United States. It's the 39th annual Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. It's put on by Hendricks Chapel, where Dean Brian Conkle is the dean. I just said that, right? It's redundant. And so he's the chair and the student co-chair. Every year there's a student co-chair. And this year we're so pleased to introduce you to Leondra Jean Tyler, all of her names. Leondra Tyler is the student co-chair of the annual Martin Luther King Jr. celebration, featuring Dr. Talithia Williams of Claremont University, who is a mathematician, host of a show on PBS. And we're so excited that we have Leondra here to talk to us about her role as a student. So we're going to really get into your role at Syracuse University and a little bit about you and why you're so excited to be this year's co-chair. So tell me about you as a student at Syracuse University.
Yes. So I am a non-traditional student. I obtained my high school equivalency diploma in fall of 2018, I remember correctly. So I did not graduate from high school. I took GED classes at BOCES here in Liverpool. And one of the instructors there gave me a folder and told me about HEOP. And it's an opportunity for students that traditionally didn't graduate from high school, have the opportunity to have higher education at SU. And as a kid, I'm from the area, Syracuse. I've always dreamed to attend Syracuse University, but because I didn't graduate high school, I really didn't think that was an option for me. So after I heard about HEOP, I went up to campus, talked with Marcia Sr. about the program. She told me that I need to finish my high school equivalency before, a little too ahead of myself on that. So I was like, sign me up for classes now. And I was accepted into Syracuse University through the HEOP program, the part-time program here. And I've been very grateful for every opportunity that Syracuse University has given me. I'm a psychology and neuroscience dual major. And I graduate in fall 24. And then a year after that, I plan to go to grad school and I will be getting my PhD.
I love it. So let's talk about do you mind sharing what was going on in high school years? Because this is great, because even though that part was something that you had to sort of overcome, what was going on in high school for you?
So I grew up in a predominantly white area in Cicero. And honestly, it wasn't a good environment for me. A lot of the kids were racist, to be very transparent.
Straight up. Okay.
So it was very difficult for me growing up. And I just made the decision to just take some time for myself. And I think I was like 21 and I was like, you know what? To be able to have a job of beyond working at McDonald's or something like that, I need to get my GED, which is now called the high school equivalency. So I just made the decision to further my opportunities by getting that diploma.
And if I could further ask you, were you the subject of racial incidents while you were there?
Yes, absolutely. A lot of it as a kid growing up, I didn't realize that it was racist until I got older. I'm looking back, I'm like, yeah, they really should have been saying that. And of course, they're kids just like me. So obviously that's a learned behavior from their households. Their parents were actually racist. They picked up on their behaviors, and then I ended up having to experience that stuff.
And so this goes to show this wasn't really about your ability to succeed in high school. There was some environmental factors that impact, and how many other young people are struggling with environmental factors that impede their ability to learn.
No, absolutely. I've always been very academically motivated. My test scores have always been great. When I was in elementary school, I went to Ed Smith. They had me in advanced reading classes. I've always been very good academic wise, but the environment, as you said, that I was in was not good enough for me to be able to succeed in that way. And I'm glad that I was able to take a non-traditional path into higher education.
No, Leondra, I just think it's really powerful in some ways and courageous in some ways to stop in your tracks and redirect and then pick up a few years later to say, you know what, I want to do this and get this done. And here you are, getting ready to graduate this year and then move on and pursue a PhD. Uh, I just want to big you up on that because that's a great journey for you.
Thank you.
So you, as a non-traditional student, and now you are on your way. You said you could relate to Dr. Talithia Williams, who will be the keynote speaker, because she speaks to non-traditional students. Tell me more.
I'm very excited to meet and have Dr. Williams here on campus. I think that she will do a great job at opening the eyes for a lot of different people, in terms of like representation as a Black woman who is very successful in what she does, but also just opening the eyes to different non-traditional paths that people are going to be taking, especially now with like COVID. There's traditional isn't traditional anymore. I feel like non-traditional should be the more traditional pathways.
Hmm.
There shouldn't be one set in stone way that a direction that someone goes in order to be successful. And I feel like Dr. Williams does a really great job for discussing and advocating for those different inclusive opportunities for people to be successful within education.
Do you think so looking at your pathway, what do you think about, or how do you feel about whether these pathways are available, or how do we make those pathways more available? Maybe is a better question.
I personally advocate for funding for programs like HEOP. Every year
Hmm.
I go down to Albany and I talk with legislators and senators, and I let them know that like these programs are very important to be funding. I would have never known that I had the opportunity to go to SU if it wasn't for HEOP, someone telling me about this. If I would have attended SU a traditional way, I probably would have had to go to community college first and
Hmm.
then apply to SU. Um, but honestly, like talking with your local government to make sure that they're funding programs like these and that there's people willing to have programs like this. If Syracuse University didn't accept the HEOP program, which HEOP is at over 150, if I remember correctly, community colleges and universities in New York State. So that's a vast amount of opportunities for people to be able to have education. But a lot of people don't know about it. I feel like we need more funding for these programs and we need more outreach so people know about their options.
What kinds of things have you been involved in on campus?
Most of my campus activities is involved with advocacy for these programs and then also the food pantry at Hendricks Chapel.
How have you been involved with the food pantry at Hendricks Chapel?
So at the start of the pandemic in 2020, I used to do work study in like the dining halls, and I reached out to the former director of food services looking for employment opportunities because there just wasn't any at the start of the pandemic. And she connected me with Saisha Bird, who formerly ran the food pantry at Hendricks Chapel, among other things. And I started working off at our South Pantry location, sitting in there, and I really loved it because it was when we were in quarantine. So a lot of the students that were coming into the food pantry uh, had no face-to-face interactions with people. So it was really nice being able to engage with the students, not only just give them a bag of food and know that they have food and stuff like that and they won't be hungry, but also like I've had conversations and met so many great people from this. And then I became like the unofficial manager of the pantry. And then when Saisha left the food pantry, I took over and started running the pantry. And I've been at Hendricks for 3 years, and I've been involved in the food pantry for almost 4 years now.
There is, so how long has this food pantry been in existence?
Uh, I believe it started in 2013, if I remember
Okay, so
correctly.
it's fairly, well, I'm going to say fairly new. So about 10 years. And so how does it work? How do students avail themselves? Because I think it's great that you have that. And then you would think, oh, they're at Syracuse University. Why would they need a food pantry? I mean, I know that's not a great way to put that, but some people would think that.
Absolutely. I feel like a lot of people do have that perspective. They assume that the majority of SU students are very privileged and well off, which is true, but there also are a lot of international students and even students like myself, non-traditional students who obviously struggle to make meets. So how we work is basically students come in, no questions asked, and we have a bag of dry food items that are typically like pasta, beans, soup, breakfast items, cereal, Pop Tarts, oatmeal. Sometimes we'll have like oat milk, and then we also have produce bags. A lot of college campuses that have food pantries typically don't have fresh produce. And we ordered the fresh produce from a local company, Syracuse Banana, which has been really great. So we're able to help our students, but also use a local Syracuse company as well.
Mhm.
Um, and students can come in once a week and they can have the option of either bag or both of them. And they just have supplemental items. We also offer items like shampoo, conditioner, pads, tampons, household cleaning items as well.
So you can, and so do I just go in and say I want everything? Like, how does it work?
So a student will come in during our hours of operation and basically we just they say if they want like a dry bag or a produce bag, and the hygiene and home items are like if they ask about them, they're made aware in our website that we have certain items, and students will be like, oh, I need pads, and then we just give them some pads. Oh, you have shampoo, you have toothpaste, and we just give them those items. But the dry food bag is a default bag of items, and then the produce is also a default bag of items.
Right. And so how many times can people use that?
Once a week they can come
Once a week. They can, wow. Well, I mean, I think that's great. What is the feeling you get when you're supporting and helping students in that way?
in. I love it honestly because like I feel like and students shouldn't have to choose between like, oh, I need to buy chicken for myself, or am I gonna involve myself in these campus activities? And I find a lot of students come to me and say, like, this has been such a great help where like I have a social life. I'm able to not have to worry about like if I'm gonna be able to eat today. A lot of students come to me saying that they've skipped meals, that they've had to budget where they can only afford one meal and they otherwise would have been able to eat throughout the day if it wasn't for the pantry. And it's really nice knowing that like a simple bag of food, which to anyone could just be something simple, is means a lot to these students, and it changes their lives because they're able to concentrate more in class. They may not have to work as much. They're able to engage in campus activities like Orange After Dark events, like $5 for an event could also mean $5 for a pack of chicken. They don't have to worry about
Yeah. Although where you gonna get that? But that's
that.
where you gonna get that? I don't know where you're gonna get
Oh,
that.
pre-COVID prices.
So, what are you looking forward to most on this? So, let's talk about the event itself, the 39th annual Martin Luther King Jr. celebration at the Carrier Dome, where tickets are available at mlk.syr.edu, and they're mobile tickets only. So you got to do that if you're gonna go. Okay, you did all that. So, what are you most excited about? Tell me about what you're looking forward to and what tell us what's going on. I don't want to assume that people know.
So two main things that I'm really excited for is our art gallery. Last year we also had an art gallery. This year we have amazing artists from all different age ranges from all over the country, and I feel like a lot of people will enjoy engaging with the art that we have there. And then a second part that I'm really excited for is obviously our keynote speaker, Dr. Williams. A lot of our guests are from the Syracuse City School District community, so a lot of young students, and I'm just really excited to just see how they respond to what Dr. Williams has to say. Um, a big part of the inspiration for the theme for
Yeah, what
this
is the theme?
the theme is the rise and the roots of the dream, the rise and reach of the dream.
The rise
Um,
and reach of the dream. Okay.
yes. Um, so growing up, I'd see Black women on my TV, like Jackie Robinson on the local 3 News. And when I was younger, I always just wanted to be a journalist. Like seeing this Black woman doing amazing things on my TV, I was like, Mom, I want to be just like her. And I'm really hoping that these students see Dr. Williams and be like, I want to be awesome just like her. I think it's really important to see people that look like you in positions of power.
Have you ever met
And
Jackie? Have you ever
I
met Jackie?
have met her when I was a kid, though I haven't met her as an adult. Um, when I was younger, I used to be at Cab Horse Commons daycare, and she went there for, I'm assuming, a news thing. And I met her there when I was a kid, but I've never met her as an adult, and I would love to.
I got to make that happen for you. So let me put my resources to work here. So let's talk about some of the logistics. So the art gallery. So we're talking about Sunday, January 21st, from 4:15 is when the gallery opens. It's at the JMA Wireless Dome. And what's the gate they're going to enter through for the most
I
part?
believe it's gate A, and if
Yeah.
you have a ticket for the dinner, then that also includes the art gallery. But unfortunately, if you're just getting tickets to the events for Dr. Williams, then that doesn't include the art gallery. So I really feel like you should go for the dinner price because it's dinner, a show, and an art gallery. So
Right, because you won't be there in time to experience the art gallery, and so the dinner is at 5 o'clock, as when the serving will start, and then for the general public, if you just want the program only, I believe those doors open at 6. I believe, right. If
yes.
you just want the dinner only, which is free. I'm sorry, the presentation by Dr. Williams at 7 is free, but there'll be a traditional. I don't know why y'all don't just call it a soul food dinner, but anyway, it'll be. I don't know why y'all just don't call it that, but you have. What do you call it?
It's soul food.
Thank you. All right, so the soul food dinner. But not only will you have a soul food dinner, you'll have a gluten-free, you will have a vegetarian, you will have a vegan, you have halal, you have kosher. So whatever you eat, they got a plate for you over there. And it's always a good deal. And they do a great job on the sweet potato pie, the banana pudding, and you know, the ribs and all the good stuff. Yeah, black eyed peas and macaroni and cheese and cornbread. Yes, and fried chicken. They're gonna have all that. But
Yep.
also for those of you who are halal, kosher, vegetarian, vegan, they got you covered. They got you covered all those different ways. And it's always a good fellowship. And so I encourage people to get your tickets. If you haven't yet, get your tickets, get your tickets, get your tickets, because you don't want the dinner to sell out on you. You don't want that. You don't want that. Of course,
It sells out, I think, almost every year.
it
So
does.
it's
Yeah,
mhm.
and also recognizing unsung heroes and heroines. Whether it's from community, whether it's on campus, there'll be that those individuals will be honored as well. So it's really going to be a great event. And look at you, Leondra, you're all up in it. Did you imagine yourself as you before you made the decision? What did you think about what your life would be before you made the decision to I'm going to finish my education?
So when I made the decision to get my GED, I didn't think that I would be at SU. Um, I just thought that okay, if I get this GED, maybe I could be a receptionist, and, make some decent money just, to live and all that stuff.
Right.
Being able to attend Syracuse University has changed my life drastically. It's opened so many doors, so many opportunities, and it definitely started with HEOP, but there was also another transition when I started working with Hendrix Chapel.
Mm.
Um, like I would have never believed that I would be where I am today. Being able to make as much impact in people's lives, getting such a great quality education, being able to say that I'm going from having a GED to a PhD soon, I never would have imagined it. And even if I would have taken the traditional path, like as a kid, I didn't imagine my SU experience to be like this. It's
So
great.
connect that connect that then to me, Leondra, to what the theme is in Martin Luther King Jr. Say the theme again. The theme again is what?
The rise and reach of the dream.
The rise and reach of the dream. How would you say that that applies to you?
I mean, for me, like SU and having higher education and being able to attend here was literally just a dream for me. And when I was a kid, seeing people on my TV like Jackie Robinson planted those little roots of the dream. And then once I had access to education, once there was a path that I was able to recognize, a non-traditional one, but a path nonetheless, I was able to actually reach and obtain my dream to be able to attend Syracuse University.
So, what for all the young girls in Syracuse and Cicero, your message is
Don't give up. Seek different paths. I mean, it may not be a traditional one, but there's multiple paths to get where you want to go. There's resources out there to help you achieve your dream. SU has so many different programs and degrees and certificates. Anything that you could think of that you would want to do, you can do at SU. They even have esports program now. If you want to play video games for a living, you can do that at SU.
Lord today. Here we go. All right, Leondra, what is it? What is your goal once you get your PhD? What do you want to do?
I feel like society kind of makes you kind of limit yourself to one career, and I want multiple careers. I really would like to work with the government. So I'm seeking PhD programs in either behavioral neuroscience or social psychology. I'm interested in the overlap of different social psychology questions, but I want to look at it with like a neuroscience scope. And I'm really hoping that the research that I do in my PhD program, but also outside of it once I'm finished, could help curve like different neuroethic laws, DEIA programs and laws. And I would like to work for like a government or a company, neuroethics involving AI development. I think is really important. And those are a few of my interests. Like I don't want to limit myself. I'm hoping to
Do
do
you,
quite a few things.
of course, you have to be accepted to a PhD program. Do you have to do a master's first?
Some programs are shaped like that, where you have to start off with the master's, then you do PhD. But I'm looking at exclusive PhD programs. So how most of the programs that I'm looking at is shaped is you take like some graduate classes the first year or two, and then you're in your research, you're teaching, you're doing your dissertation, and then you argue your theses.
So you go right from wow, wonderful. Well, listen, Leondra, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Leondra Tyler is the co-chair of the Martin Luther King Jr. Uh, dinner on January 21st, MLK.syr.edu.edu at the JMA Wireless Dome. That's how you get tickets. $30. Buy a table for $300, and it's a great opportunity for. It's the first big event of the season. One of the first big events of the season where town meets gown, and we all have a good time living the dream. Leondra Tyler, you're living the dream, and you're someone we feel good about on Inspiration for the Nation. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today, and we wish you continued success in everything that you do.
Thank you so much for having me.
And look at that, you were on a radio show too. Inspiration for the Nation. Watch out, Jackie. Here she comes. All right.